Welcome to Ingredient Insiders. I'm John Magazzino.
And I'm Andrea Parkins.
Thanks for watching this clip of our interview with Chef Robbie Felice.
For the full episode, find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Links in the description below. Let's talk specifically about pastaRAMEN and what I will explain. And Robin Reese, who is
my bestest friend,
who's a big fan of yours, and
my better half.
We went there for dinner, and the way that she described it to me and I described it to her was where Rome meets Tokyo. But that's not what we said. We said something better.
I like that.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about that. How did you come up with that idea? So it's an Italian restaurant, but it's also a Japanese restaurant kind of at the same time?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was the middle of the pandemic. And again, entrepreneurial Robbie's coming out. I had 2 restaurants at the time. You know, I specifically remember, you know, opening my second. My goal was I opened my first with my dad at 26. And then I told him, hey, I came and opened this, you know, we always say like shitty restaurant in a shitty strip mall in Wayne, New Jersey. It's not shitty, but like, you know, it's not my dream, like, $20 million build out restaurant. Anyway, then I opened my second before I was 30 because I told him we have to open my second before I'm 30. That's my rule. And I did. We opened Osteria Crescendo. And at the time, I'm like, yo, New Jersey has written about me in every known piece of thing. Like, why can't I get like Esquire or Food and Wine or any of these people out here? And it really bothered me. Like, I was like directly sending emails to like these editors, and they were just like, yeah, no, sorry. Nah, sorry. And half time I wouldn't get responses. And like, I'm sitting there kind of like believing in myself. Like, I go out to eat for Italian food in the city all the time. And like, I know that some of my pastas are better. I know that some of my food's better. And it like really got to me to where, so during the pandemic, obviously closed both of the restaurants. Make a long story short, I took like a private chef job out in the Hamptons just to keep them alive for like extra money in my pocket. Turned my first restaurant, Viaggio, into a market. We were selling, I make all my own charcuterie, salumi, dry-aged beef. So like people were coming to Viaggio to buy this stuff, and they were like, yo, we're eating better now during the pandemic than we did from like ShopRite and Acme, whatever it is. And I really sat down and I was like, you know, well, now I can't open another restaurant. We're in the middle of the pandemic. My whole career's on halt. And I was like, this can't happen. Like, I'm not taking my foot off the gas. So I started sneaking people in the back door of Viaggio, like literally like, yo, come to the back door, knock twice, I'll open the door. I closed all the blinds on the front windows, and I would cook people. I called it my Underground Tasting Tuesdays, and we would just sell it all over social media. It was a way to like, you know, keep me and my dad alive. And I started using it to taste or test what I now call Wafu Italian food, which Wafu means in the style of Japanese, and we put that in front of Italian, and you have in the style of Japanese Italian. You know, at the time, I hate fusion. I'm so against fusion, the word fusion. I think it's gimmicky. So I really started looking into this, and the more I deep dove into this and deep dove into what they do in Japan, and then thinking back to when I lived in Italy for a while, I was like, yo, this is a real thing. Like, you look up the word Wafu, and like, they cook this in Japan. Like, Japanese people are like, our favorite thing to eat at home on Sundays is like Western food, which is like our Japanese ingredients mixed with Italian and mixed with Western things. So like, I was like, how the hell is there no one in America cooking Japanese Italian food? Like, and there's 5 restaurants that I could rattle off right now that are doing it in America. That's it. So I was like, this is it. This is like my big break. Holy shit, I found something to be different. Like, you know, if you guys don't want to watch me cooking Italian food, you know, now that I'm cooking Japanese Italian food, don't come knocking on my door now. But anyway, make a long story short, did it in Viaggio, Underground Tasting Tuesdays, sold out like so many Tuesdays in 8 months that I had to start doing it on Mondays. So we did it Mondays, Tuesdays. Went to my now business partner, Luck. He owns a bunch of ramen shops.
Ani Ramen?
Ani Ramen.
Yeah, nice.
So that's my business partner for pastaRAMEN. Went to him, said, yo, this is the middle of the pandemic. So funny story, I like walk in his house. His kids are like looking behind the door like, Dad. And I sit on like one end of his dining room table. He sits on the other. We're talking like 12 feet apart. Right. I'm like, I have an idea. And he's like, let's hear it. But anyway, that's kind of how it started. And then we took it even farther. Like, everyone likes the unknown. So we kept me a secret. Like, there's this video that came out of, it was me all blacked out. And it was like a fake, like that voice from like Saw, the Saw movies.
Yeah.
And it was like real scary.
Disguised voice.
Yeah, and it was like a disguised voice because we didn't want people knowing that I was doing it. So basically, you would book for this tasting. You didn't know the location. You didn't know who the chef was. And we were charging like $4.95 a person at the time.
Did they find out who you were when they got there?
When you got there, they were
Okay.
like, oh my God, it's you doing it. But it was even better because you had like wives being like to their husbands or whatever. Like, I just booked us for a tasting. It cost over $1,000 and I don't really know where we're going. So like there would be like husbands and wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, walking in and you could sense that there was something. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like I'm going to win them over instantly. And they would walk in and, you know, the husbands would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are we here? Blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, yo, chill. Like you're sitting down for this exclusive tasting, like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, make a long story short, we traveled around the whole country. We did 3 locations in New York City, 3 in Miami, like 15 in New Jersey, 1 in the Hamptons, 1 in Seattle, and 1 in LA.
Wow.
And we did 3-month pop-ups. We had everyone from Adele to Morimoto to Halsey to A$AP Ferg to half of the Jets and Giants come in. And it really like blew up. It took off. And like at the time, I thought like the pop-up craze was over because the pop-up craze was totally like 2015 to 20. That was like the years where everyone would like start as a pop-up and then you would dive into your restaurant. So for me to like go backwards and kind of be like, yo, I'm just going to take a pop-up around the country. And yeah, that's kind of how the Japanese Italian food was born. We would do super small, exclusive, never more than 14 people a seating. 12 courses. I was cooking everything with like, you know, one of my sous chefs and we would have a front of the house team, always remote locations, never a restaurant. That was my rule. I would never do it in a restaurant. We did it in warehouses, falling down buildings, rooftops, no running water. If it meant it was hard for me to do it, I wanted to do it there because it created more of an experience.
Yeah.
So like one funny story I have is like middle of the pandemic, we walked into like had to be like a $15-16 million restaurant. And the owner's like, yeah, you guys could do it. You guys can use it for free. And Luck's like, oh, yeah, this is great. I'm literally walking out the door already. And I'm like, nope, not doing it here.
Too cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Luck's like, what are you doing?
Right.
This is perfect. We could actually make money during the pandemic. I was like, Luck, there's a fucking moose head on the wall.
Right.
I'm not doing pastaRAMEN here. It doesn't fit us.
That's not the vibe.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
I love that.
That's pastaRAMEN was born. We started our first location that we ever did was in Montclair, New Jersey. Luck's hospitality company is called Montclair Hospitality, and we found like a kind of like a dream location for pastaRAMEN in Montclair, New Jersey, and yeah, we're going on almost 3 years now.
And you can't get a reservation at the place. I mean, it's a tough ticket. It's not easy to get into.
Now we know him.
And
so.
this is, well, you can get a reservation, Andrea. I'll talk to
You'll
the chef.
talk to him? Okay, you talk to the chef?
You call me.
I'll call you.
It's
hook it up.
definitely
Thank you,
calmed
John.
down now. We're like, you know, I mean, not for nothing, what we did and the numbers that we did there and being completely sold out for 3 years is something I could have never imagined as a chef or as an owner. And like me and Luck sit down and talk about it all the time, but it's definitely loosening up now, like, you know, the buzz of 3 years. But I think as an entrepreneur now, you hit your second stage of like, what do we do to keep this going? What's the next step?
Right. How do you keep it exciting?
Exactly.
It's just a fun, exciting atmosphere. Thanks for listening to this episode of Ingredient Insiders.
You can find the products we discussed on today's episode at chefswarehouse.com or your favorite specialty retailer.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ingredient Insiders and Chef's Warehouse at Where Chefs Shop.